What's up, everyone? I'm Rick Knight. Welcome back to another video here at The Bad Philosopher. Okay, so I have a guest sitting in with me for this show. It's not going to just be me ranting about the crazy liberals all by myself. I have a new friend, I would like to call him. This is Red Phoenix, and he's here representing the Guardian Angels. So, Red, should I call you Mr. Phoenix or Red?
Whatever you want.
Well, there he is. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so how long have you been a Guardian Angel?
I have been a guardian angel for 2 years.
All right, and how'd that come about?
Well, it wasn't anything exciting. I found them through a flyer, and actually they were posting flyers at my train station on Avenue U. I live in Sheepshead Bay, and I saw the flyer and I got curious. It was actually about a guy, a criminal that attacked a woman in the station, which I had no idea about. So, and I thought it was like the police, but then I saw the name Guardian Angels, and then I got curious. So they had an email address, so I hit them up on email, and the rest was history.
All right, I remember the Guardian Angels from when I was a kid, and in the 1980s, it was a big thing. They were always on the news. It was always something. There was a lot of controversy too over a lot of political stuff back and forth. But without a doubt, especially a woman. The 80s was terrible, and I would get on the trains. There was always something going on in the trains.
I've heard.
Oh, it was bad. It was so bad. But when you saw a group of Guardian Angels hanging out at a train station, especially if you were a woman coming home at night, you kind of felt a little more comfortable that you had 6 or 7 guys standing there that you know what I'm saying, that would
Exactly.
Intervene and help her, if she needed the help. So, definitely was a lot of good coming out of it. I think the membership is pretty small now. I don't think there's as much. How many members citywide are in the Guardians that you know of?
Actually, the group has grown. It's like worldwide now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in other cities as well.
If you look on guardianangels.org, you can see the list of cities that have chapters. That's what we're called. We're called chapters.
Right.
Like Coney Island is a chapter. The Bronx has a chapter. Right. Manhattan, Staten Island. So if you look at guardianangels.org, you see that we have cities. We have chapters in over 100 cities.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear. How many members are in your chapter?
In the Coney Island chapter,
Right.
we have 5 members. In New York, I've seen at least 50 members.
Okay, all right. So you're trying to get there. 5 members, though. I mean, that's...
It is difficult to...
It is.
Like I say, because we're volunteers. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, hey, do you get paid? I'm like, no, we don't.
Yeah, right.
We just...
If it was that easy.
Volunteers who give up our own time, to do this. So...
Do you get any perks on the train? Does the MTA offer you guys anything? Do they at least give you like a free Metro card?
Well, actually, my chapter leader, his name is Crazy J. He gets the perks because he's been living there for over 20 years. So the manager of the station knows him.
Right.
When we have to ride the train, we get on for free.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's not so bad then. Helps you out
that's
a little
cool.
bit.
But I have an unlimited Metro card, so it doesn't affect me at all.
But you got to pay for the unlimited, right? Out of your own pocket?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have to travel for work.
Yeah, okay. All right, I see what
getting
you're
free
saying.
rides doesn't help me at all.
Right. Okay. Now, do you guys do any training? Do you train in anything? As far as like hand to hand?
There's the chapter in Washington Heights. We have an office up there, and they give you martial arts training. But unfortunately, it's very far away.
Yeah, I can imagine. What type of martial arts do you know?
Unfortunately, I have not been up there yet, but
Yeah.
I would imagine it's mainly self-defense. And Guardian Angels, we usually are more defensive than aggressive because we have a reputation to live up to.
Right.
We cannot be seen as the attackers.
Right. You don't want to like beat the shit out of somebody and then...
Right, we don't do that. Unless if they were to attack an angel first, but that's a different story. Because we're still people at the end of the day.
Right. No, yeah, of course, you have the right to defend yourself. I train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and in Muay Thai.
Cool.
And Muay Thai.
I train in Muay Thai too.
Where at?
At the UFC,
Which one?
Canal Street.
Okay, you're in Manhattan. Because there's one not far from here. There's one in Brighton Beach. There's a
I know
UFC
about
gym.
that one.
Yeah. I don't think I think they have a very poor reputation though. From what I heard, a poor reputation.
Poor reputation.
From what I heard, from what people have said, where I train jujitsu in, we have quite a few students that used to go there, and they said it's terrible. It's not so great. Yeah. So, but I mean, they charge what is it? It's like $100 a month or something.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheap. That's probably why. That's probably
It
why.
is.
Yeah. Because for me, altogether with all my training, it's $350 a month. It's $200 for Muay Thai and $150 for jujitsu.
You have to pay them separately.
Yeah, it's two different places.
Oh.
It's two different
But the
places.
UFC teaches you both, don't they?
I believe they do. I don't know if they do it in the form of MMA or if it's separate. If it's like two separate classes, one.
The UFC that I go to is a separate class.
Right.
There's different levels of class.
Damn, maybe I need to switch.
BJJ is separate.
Yeah, but do you pay all of them separate, or is it one fee for everything?
No, one fee to go to the gym, and then once you're there, you can take as many classes as you want.
In anything.
You can go every day if you want.
And maybe I gotta
But
switch
the thing
over.
is, with BJJ, you have to buy your own. We call it gi.
Yeah. Oh, I have maybe 20 gis in my closet right now.
You're rich, aren't you?
No, you know what? I was on a judo team for years. I was with the Starrett judo team for I can't even tell you how many years. A long time. So I've accumulated a lot of gis, and I did buy a few jiu-jitsu gis. When you are a gi guy, you just can't help but to buy another gi. You just can't control
Is
yourself.
that a thing?
It's a thing. It is a thing.
Cool. Maybe you can teach me some moves. 'Cause
You know, you got to come down. You know, I think it would be best to have you guys, if possible, to train you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think that would be the better thing for you guys to train in, because it'll be, since the focus is really to restrain someone and not like pound their head in,
True.
just to restrain them. It'll be better for you to be able to take them to the ground and then keep your ground control on them, and then go for your submissions or a choke if you have to render
That is true.
the suspect. So
Personally, my main focus is Muay Thai kickboxing. But I've always wanted to take BJJ, but I've always talked myself out of it because it looks very, how should I say, painful.
it's not as bad. Muay Thai is way worse. In terms of pain, Muay Thai is worse. I mean, you have a guy punching you in the face, kicking you. You've taken those leg kicks before; they hurt.
I've taken kicks.
Yeah.
It
I've gotten.
hurts, and then you get over it.
Yeah, you learn to.
BJJ, someone could just kill you, just like that.
Well, in training, it's not so bad because you could just tap out. You just tap out, and the guy gets off you. And that's it. You get put into a chokehold or an armbar, a leg lock, you just tap. And that's it. And sometimes when you already your body, you have certain injuries, and once you feel that the person is close to getting, maybe the person's 50-50 in on the armbar, and maybe you have issues with your elbow or your shoulder, you can tap early. You could just tap and say, my shoulder is not so great.
I see.
So let me just tap out now. I don't need you to, you know what I mean? I don't want you to
Yeah.
get 75% in, 80%, 90%. I'd rather just tap out now. And so I think there's more safety involved. And then not to mention, you can go full force. Me and you can get on the mat and go full force with each other. And I'll put you in a submission or a choke, and you'll tap out, and then we'll just continue again and go full force all over again without worrying about getting hurt. With Muay Thai, you're not going full force because, I don't want to get knocked out. I don't want the guy, breaking my face.
Well, the people in class, they don't go full force. They don't hit as hard as they can. The point is just to hit someone and, speed. The key is speed. And we wear gloves and we wear shin guards, so there is safety involved. And I personally like fighting standing up.
Yeah, the stand-up
But
game.
I do want to take BJJ eventually. But right now I'm focused on the kickboxing and lifting weights. So my schedule really doesn't allow me to learn a new skill if you don't have that much time.
What do you do for work?
I work as a web developer, meaning I write code, and I'm responsible for the website. So
Learn to code. You know about that? You know about the learn to code?
Is that an academy?
It is it is part, as the young people say, it's a dank ass meme. It's a dank meme.
I know it's a meme.
Okay.
The other thing.
In the 2016 election, I know you're not you don't really care for politics, but in the 2016 election, Clinton was grilled about the jobs in Virginia, the coal miners, that people were losing their job, and the Democrats are known for wanting to shut down the coal mining industry, and what was said about the men who were out of work, the coal miners, were, maybe you should learn a new skill. Maybe you should learn to code. Now, if anyone knows, I don't know anything about computers or coding or anything, but I do know coding it could be pretty difficult. It's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to learn. And when you have a guy who's like maybe my age, in his 40s, to learn, I mean, I'm in college now learning new skills, but coding is a pretty tough skill to have to pick up as, a 40-something-year-old man from Virginia working in a coal mine.
I'm not going to say it's easy.
So
I went to school for that.
Recently, not to cut you off, but recently, a bunch of journalists lost their job, mainly because, this is part of the fake news outlets. They're caught up in lies. They're caught up in all kinds of nonsense, reporting, fake stories. And a lot of them, Huffington Post recently laid off like 10 of their journalists because of the whole Covington Catholic high school boys situation that happened. So people were online and they were saying to the journalists, maybe you should learn how to code. Throwing it right back in their face. And and now people who go on Twitter and say that to journalists, they kind of get booted off of Twitter. It is now seen as like a mean thing to say, but it wasn't mean to the coal miners who were out of work, but it's mean to say this to a journalist
I see.
who could just learn to code, and that's it. But that's impressive. That's impressive. I'm a plumber by trade.
I couldn't tell at all.
What? Why couldn't you tell? I'm almost offended.
You have a podcast. You look like you know how to use a computer. Plus, you have a Macintosh.
Right. and plumbers, no, you can't. You won't meet a plumber who knows how to use a computer, or has a podcast or anything like that.
No.
Say,
Who said
damn it! This is an ism. This is an ism right now. You're assuming because I'm a plumber, I wouldn't know how to do any of this stuff.
No, I said I couldn't tell you're a plumber. I'm shocked.
This is an ism. I don't know what kind of ism it is, but this is an ism. But no, yeah, I mean, years of being a plumber, and I'm trying to move out of it. I'm trying to get out of it. Trying to move, change employment, something else. Yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. So I started this podcast. Hopefully, it'll go somewhere enough for me to at least replace my regular job. And I'm in college too. I want to get a degree and see what I can do with that. Probably absolutely nothing, but I think the whole purpose of the degree is because I do a lot of my work with this show is politics. So people always assume if you don't have a degree, then your opinion is not valid. If you don't have a degree and if you don't have the right type of degree.
People don't say that.
Oh, yes, they do.
What a bunch of pricks.
Yeah, they say it all the time.
I don't believe people should be judged by the level of their education. It's really about their character.
Yeah, character. And but I guess when you get into the political realm, what happens is people say, you're talking about the whole transgender stuff. What degree do you have? And then you can never have the right degree. If you say, I have a degree in, whatever, philosophy, then it's like, but that's not you don't have a degree in psychology. But if you have a degree in psychology, they're like, well, what degree do you have? And it's like, I have a master's degree. Well, it's not a PhD. You know what I mean? And if you had a PhD, then they'll say, well, where did you get your PhD from? I got it from here, maybe from CUNY. So, no, it's got to be from Harvard. So, I mean, you know how it goes. It's always, that's the whole battle when it comes to, in the political world. It's a battle.
I see.
So you grew up here in New York City?
Pretty much.
In Brooklyn, born and raised?
Brooklyn, born and raised.
Where does your family come from?
My family is from China.
You speak the language? You speak Chinese?
I speak Cantonese.
Cantonese. Yeah, there's no Chinese language, right? It's called Cantonese.
It's Mandarin
or
and
Mandarin.
Cantonese.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because I have a coworker of mine who's Chinese, and he stopped caring, but he used to say all the time, he's like,
It's like I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But yeah, he would always say, we don't speak Chinese, we speak Cantonese or Mandarin. And Mandarin is the more popular one, right?
It's the official language.
It's the official language, but which one's more popular?
Mandarin.
Mandarin is
It's actually dialects. There's over 50 dialects in China because there's different regions.
What region are you from? Or your family?
Hong Kong.
Mm.
So the
Oh, so
dialects are
you're-
so different that you could learn one dialect and then you listen to another one and you don't know what they're talking about.
So you're
But what's interesting is that but the writing is the same. The
Right,
Cantonese
right,
and
right,
Mandarin is the same characters, but they sound completely different.
it's sound effects, right? It's based on your tonality when you say the words, correct?
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had somebody explain that to me, and it was almost like explaining it to a 3-year-old who was drunk. Me trying to understand the difference in the tonality when they speak. Like it's one word can mean 5 different things, but it's how you say it. It's the tone in your voice, and that dictates what you mean. Which I mean, I get it, but it's a tough. You know, it's
English
tough.
is tough.
It's tough. It's tough to learn that language.
I mean, my primary language is English, so I mean, I'm used to it. But I feel like for people who just come here, like foreigners, they say that English is very hard.
Yeah. I guess to learn any language is pretty tough. We kind of take for granted that we just grew up speaking this language and we know it so well.
Yeah, there's actually like a YouTube video about how stupid English is. Like cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, the fish, 2 fish.
Yeah. There's no. It's
plural, right?
Yeah. It is. I always say once in a while I don't say knife. I say knife. You know, just messing around.
Knife?
Yeah, I say knife because it's like why don't we just drop the K? Just drop it. We don't need it. Why
we don't need it.
Why are we writing the
Doesn't
K
make
before
sense.
knife? It's stupid, but that's why a lot of people like math, right? Math always makes sense if you're good at it. I'm terrible at math. Are you good at math?
I'm Asian.
And I'm Jewish, and you would expect both of us to be like amazing at math.
I'm actually good at math.
Are you? I suck. I'm terrible at math. I had such a struggle. I was studying engineering, mechanical engineering,
Oh yeah?
and I made it about halfway through what was required in math, and I had enough. I walked away. I said I can't do this no more.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, fuck that. So there was a lot of physics needed in engineering, and I really, really, really wanted to grasp the concept of physics and astronomy. I love astronomy. You can't see it. I have telescopes behind the curtain, and I have a little meteorite that I wear around my neck.
Cool.
Real, actual meteorite that hit Earth.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I love astronomy. And I really wanted to grasp physics, and just the math just destroyed me. So I just eventually just left, and I figured, you know, what is physics without math? It's philosophy. So now I have a philosophy degree that I'll have in the spring. I'll have an associate degree in philosophy.
You know what? I was good at math, but I was bad at physics. So let that sink in.
Yeah. Oh man.
Physics, I
terrible.
didn't like it.
No.
I just didn't.
I love it. I love the idea of it. I just it's the practice of it that I can't get.
I just don't understand the formulas. Like, okay, I take a pen, you know, I drop it on the floor. And that's it. I don't need numbers to be involved. It's like, what's the point? It's so boring.
What got me was the calculating the how many times a butterfly flaps its wings. You know what I mean, within a certain frame, and it was just insane. It was just insane. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
90% of college is useless.
Oh, it is. You don't even know.
They don't teach you how to manage your finances.
No,
right?
no.
They don't teach you how to date someone, how to manage a relationship.
Right. Well, they don't teach you how to date, but they tend to teach you who to date in colleges now.
Do they?
They kind of push a certain narrative in these colleges now. They really do across the country.
What kind of narrative?
If you're familiar with what's going on with like the whole gender issue. How old are you?
I'm like 34.
34. So I mean, you shouldn't be too far out of the loop. But in have you done college?
Yes.
How
I
long
went
ago?
to a Polytechnic University.
Oh, you went to Polytech.
Right, now they're part of NYU.
Right.
So let's say NYU.
Yeah, what we have now in these colleges and universities across the country, again, not to get into politics, I know you're not very much into it, but you have a certain narrative being pushed through these universities. So you have like the gender issue where you have transgender students, and then most of the part it's students who are not transgender standing up for the rights of students who are transgender. And you have the whole inclusion and equality and diversity and all of this. This is part of the narrative that's pumped through the universities, where they're just obsessed with who you have sex with. It's like this obsession in our political field today.
That's a darn shame.
It's to the point. Like, it's not to say that you shouldn't. It's not to say that you shouldn't have sex with whoever you want to. That's one story. It's one thing, but pushing this narrative, you know what I mean, of the whole gender issue. I don't know.
I personally feel they should not do that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. They teach that gender and race is a social construct, and I had a professor actually say that in class, and I had to challenge him. I cannot let it go. And the professors hate me.
I can picture that.
All the professors hate me. All the professors that engage in anything political in any class that I've ever been in, they absolutely hate me. I don't let a thing go. But yeah, they pump this narrative that race and gender is a social construct, which means I could be Asian and you could be European, because we socially constructed you as an Asian person and me as a European.
You don't say.
That's according to the politics of the day, especially on college campuses. And gender is also a social construct. So they don't believe that there's a difference between male and female. They think that there's no biological difference.
I have no comments.
That's I know you don't want to get into it, but it is something. I mean, it is a strange time we live in, and this is something that is on the college campuses. You don't really see it too much here in New York City because we don't really have a campus life. You go out of state, you have students who they live in a dorm and they live on a campus, and they have like a whole life on this campus. We're here in New York City. We don't really have too much of that. So people have a life to live. They just don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like they don't really have the time to protest and be angry about something. It's like they get out of class, they go home. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm going home.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, they just don't want to be bothered by it. Where in other places there is no, home is, you're still on the campus when you go home. You know what I mean? You still, you don't really leave the campus, so you have a whole campus life, and that's where it really takes root. But in some of the most prestigious colleges, you don't give a shit. All right, moving on to something else. We'll move on. So, any family? Married?
Not married.
Not married, no. What the hell are you waiting for, bro? You're 34 years old.
I don't have time.
You don't have time? I don't have time. Damn it. You have no time for a woman?
I mean, maybe a woman, but I don't have time for a family. Got too many goals and stuff.
Right. You work for a big firm?
I work for a non-profit company, and they are called the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids. So basically, they keep kids away from drugs. Okay, all right, that's a good cause. And they know you're a guardian angel. Do everybody feel safe in your office? They're like, the guardian angel's here, Red Phoenix. He's gonna fuck you up. Sure they do. Have you ever had to wrestle anyone to the ground yet on the trains? Have you ever stopped anyone from? Have you had a situation yet where you and your colleagues had to like chase someone down and grab them and hold them there for the cops to come? Not when I was there, but there was one time we were at McDonald's. So it was me and my chapter leader, Crazy J, and there's this homeless guy that bothers everybody, and he's really annoying. He would come up to you and ask you for money. You would say no, and he'll ask again and again, and nobody likes him. So him, homeless guy, and another white guy were arguing, and they were getting into it. A lot of F words being thrown. So me and Crazy J had to break them up. Yeah, we had to keep them away from each other. Stop them from fighting. So that's probably the most physical I ever got. Right. Okay, all right. Do you know who Phoenix Jones is? I don't know. You don't know Phoenix Jones? Phoenix Jones is he's a real life superhero from Seattle. You've never heard of Phoenix Jones?
He's from Seattle. He wears a superhero costume. And he go. I know you're smiling because you're like, "Where's the joke in this?" I did the same thing. I laughed, and then I watched a whole documentary with him, and he goes around Seattle, pretty much fighting crime. He's pretty much a private police officer. That's very well known in the Seattle area, and actually pretty respected. Maybe not. I guess he's probably like half and half respected by the police. I'm sure some of them think what he's doing is a good thing, and then others think that he's just going to get himself killed because he did get shot and stabbed in separate incidences. He was a few times he was hurt because he does he gets into brawls. He's also an MMA fighter.
Cool.
Yeah, and then he recently, I mean, a couple years ago, took his mask off so everybody sees who he is. Kind of ruined it.
He's like Batman.
He's like Batman. Yeah. So, but it was funny because I seen like another video with dudes that were like villains, and they obviously it's a parody, and they put on like villain suits and they were like, we're gonna get you, Phoenix Jones. It was, and then they had somebody like kidnapped. They were like, the guy was like tied up to the chair. It was like fake as shit, but it was funny. And they were like, setting him up. Like when Phoenix comes to rescue him, they're gonna trap him. And it was pretty interesting. But it inspired a lot of people to go out there dressed in superhero costumes and like walk around and patrol.
That's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It is. It is, but I can imagine that people who are up to no good would see them and just say it's not even about worrying about them trying to intervene, right? Because they were kind of like nerdy guys. They were all like nerdy dudes. Like you looked at them, it's like, you can't stop me from if I was committing a crime. What are you gonna do? I'll slap you up and like take your weapons from you. But it's just someone's there to report it. Someone's there to take your picture. Someone's there to chase you down. Right. Even if they're not physically can't do anything, but they're just there. You see them. It's like, these dudes, they're gonna, they're gonna call the cops. They're gonna take my picture. They're gonna try to follow me. They're gonna make my life hell. Let me just move on. Goes same thing with the guardian angels. If you see them standing around, it's like, those dudes are there. They're gonna chase us down. It's 5 of them standing around. I want to snatch a lady's purse and see them. It's like, shit, they're gonna chase me down.
Exactly.
It's just gonna give me trouble. Maybe I'll just do it someplace else, not here.
There was one time we were at Columbus Circle, the station, and this guy, I don't want to say his race, I don't want to make it sound wrong, but this guy of certain color,
say it.
He was just screaming.
What color?
He was black.
Damn it.
He was
How can that be?
Screaming as the station manager, just cursing, dropping F-bombs, like he owns it. And the thing is, there was like 20 angels, 20 of them, and we heard him screaming, and then all of us just surrounded him in a circle. Like literally, we surrounded him in a circle, and suddenly he got real quiet.
Yeah, I bet.
He didn't have much to say anymore.
I bet. Yeah, I mean,
we have power in numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's our advantage.
Definitely. But you guys have rules that you have to follow, right? So like, you guys can't swing on him.
We have a lot of rules.
You can't just hit him, right? If one of you guys would have just cracked him in his face, you might have gotten sued.
No, we have certain rules about that. We can't be the aggressors.
Right.
If we see people fighting, we have to break them up. Using locks, neck locks.
Right. You can't like grab the one guy and hold him and let the other guy hit him or anything.
No, we can hold them, but we can't hit them.
Yeah. Yeah. See, people know that it's like it's easy for me to get away from you guys or something, or to have a big mouth if I know that you can't do anything. If I know that you can't be the aggressor and you can't initiate physical contact, then I can have the biggest mouth I want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, technically, yes.
You know what I mean? Like
I don't think these people know.
Yeah, they don't. They don't know. They don't know. See, that's why sometimes a good face cracking is all you need. Just one crack in the face. So sometimes it's all you need. I hate to I don't really promote violence, but sometimes you just get heated and you can't. I had to hit a few people in my life. I had to hit a few people. I lost my temper a few times with someone. It was always warranted though. It's not like someone just called me an asshole and I just like start swinging at them. It's always like fighting words. Like those are fighting words. We're two men and you just. Yeah,
I haven't had that happen, but I did come close a few times.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to crack. He just want to crack
him
someone in the face.
Shut him up.
Yeah, no doubt. It's tough. Pretty tough one. All right. So what else?
What else?
I don't know. What else you got for me?
Do you want to know the history of the group?
The history of the group. Yeah, remind me of that.
Alright, so the Guardian Angels was founded in 1979.
Right.
So, like you said before, it was a very bad time. Things were just different. It was real bad to train for graffiti and stuff. And then one day, one person decided to do something about it. And his name is Curtis Sliwa. And his name is spelled S-L-I-W-A, Sliwa. But some people call him Curtis Sliwa with an L.
Right.
Because there's two S's, so most people say his name wrong. Anyways, it's Curtis Sliwa. So him and 12 others patrolled the trains, and because they were just sick of the bad guys, getting what they want. They weren't having their way, and he decided to do something about it. So the 13 guys, men and women, they were called the Magnificent 13.
Hmm.
Right, and that group grew, and then they became the Guardian Angels that we know today.
Right. He Curtis also had Curtis. I don't like to say the last name. Okay, Curtis Sliwa. Tough one. He used to do the show with it was Curtis, right? Curtis
And Ron Kuby.
Right. They used to do the conservative talk radio together. Well, it was conservative, right? I believe so.
It was politics.
It was definitely politics. I remember there was a big story with Curtis where he was kidnapped by Gotti's boys, and they kidnapped him and he escaped. He got shot.
He shot in the stomach.
He got shot in the stomach and he escaped and he lived. And I'm pretty sure the people who shot him was probably like asleep with the fish now. Like, you fucked up. You didn't kill him like we wanted you to. Now we're gonna kill you. But yeah, it was a big thing on the news about them when I was a kid, and it was like a big issue.
He survived.
He survived, yeah.
Did you know a couple of weeks ago he lost a tooth?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He lost a tooth because it was at Penn Station. Some crackhead kids were fighting each other, and Curtis was by himself, and he saw the fight. He went in to break the fight. All right, and then the kids screamed at him, and then Curtis walked away. One of the kids followed him and punched him from behind. Punched him right in the mouth. He landed right in the mouth, and his tooth fell off.
Damn, Curtis.
Yeah.
Maybe he's too old for that, man. He's too old. Let me get involved. See, that's the thing when you do what you do and you make a little name for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, then they're like, hey Curtis, why don't you go over there and break up those two guys? Why don't you go break up those two guys over there?
He should not have turned his back on them.
Yeah, definitely.
But then think about these kids, man. How nasty they are.
Yeah.
He punched an old man in the face.
Pretty much.
Not only that, it was from behind.
Yeah. Good old sucker punch.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't on the news. I didn't hear anything about it. I guess
it was on some of the news.
Was it? I don't recall seeing that. I guess they just don't care. He's old news. There's nothing to talk about with him anymore.
They don't care anymore.
No, they don't. And you know what? It's always political. I'm sure they just don't want to report something like that because it doesn't fit the narrative. He's not exactly loved by the liberal media.
I guess the Guardian Angels are not that newsworthy. I mean, I guess the transgender issues are more newsworthy.
It's more.
That's what triggers people.
It's definitely one-sided in the news. So, the news media, they have a narrative to pump. So if your story doesn't fit their narrative, there's no need to really talk about it. And this is why you see every time there's a police shooting, if it's a white cop shooting a black person, it's scattered all over the news. It's on the front page. It's always talked about. But they never speak about when a white man is shot and killed by the police, which does happen more than black people shot and killed. If you look at the FBI statistics and the Justice Department statistics, you'll see that most police brutality cases and shooting victims of the police are white in this country. And it makes sense because the majority of the country is white. So obviously it would make sense. I think what the problem is really the percentage-wise on both sides. I think that's what the problem is. But either way, when you really look at the the police situation, it's like it's kind of two ways. Either you have a bad cop, or you have bad citizens, and it's probably a little of both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's no reason to suggest race plays a part in every single police shooting. But it doesn't matter because the news media will spin it into race no matter what. So recently, I don't know if you're familiar with that show Empire.
What is that?
That it's a show that comes on Fox. It's like I think Terrence Howard is the star of it. It's he's a music executive or something, and it's called Empire. It's like a TV drama. There's an actor on the show, Jesse Smollett, and he plays the son of Terrence Howard. I don't know the name of the character. And he's like a singer and rapper or whatever on the show, and he's gay on the show, and he's gay in real life, and he lives in Chicago. And a couple weeks ago, he was allegedly attacked by two white men wearing "Make America Great Again" hats, and they yelled racial slurs at him. They yelled homophobic slurs. They threw bleach at him. They beat him up, and they threw a rope around his neck, like symbolizing a noose. And now it's coming out that it's all a hoax, that he set the whole thing up. Didn't happen.
Is that right?
It didn't happen. I'm expecting tomorrow that it will come out. By tomorrow, he should be charged. I'm expecting to, hopefully, because it is a hoax. The two men who supposedly beat him up turn out to be these two Nigerian brothers who are his personal trainers, and they worked with him on the show Empire. And one of them bought the rope at a hardware store, an Ace hardware store in Chicago. So this whole thing just came out that it's just a hoax. It didn't happen.
It turns out he has a lot of time on his hands.
Right. Well, he might have some time on his hands after filing a false report, but it was scattered all over the news, and journalists picked up to it. Celebrities, they sent their hearts and tears out to him, and then other people, citizens, and then it said, of course, the Trump supporters, they're all racist, and the nonsense. They're bigots, and they're hateful, and the red MAGA hat is the new Klan's hood, and all the nonsense. And it turns out to be a fake report, and that's how it goes. But when the shoe is on the other foot, when a white guy is attacked by a black person, it's not really spoken about. It's not on the news. There's just no need. There's just no need to talk about it. How many Asian guys in New York City was attacked by a black or Spanish person? I'm sure it's not that many, but once in a while it does happen.
It does happen.
It does happen, and it's just not really spoken about. They don't really say anything. They don't call it racial. They don't say it's racially motivated. They don't try to paint the suspect in a negative light. Usually they just say, it's either maybe it was a robbery, maybe, they say, some dude went crazy on the train or something. Mm-hmm. But they don't really, even if they yell a racial slur at you, they don't really put it out there. If I go out there and get it, and I just bump into a person of color on accident, it's like, you're racist. So this is the game.
Fortunately, you're right.
This is the game that the media plays, and I don't necessarily blame the people too much. It's really the media. They pump this narrative, and they know people are not smart enough to use critical thinking, so they accept what they see on the news. And that's it. Now, from your experience being on the trains and dealing with and seeing things and hearing stories, who do you think is more often the suspect and victim? Putting you on the spot.
I just don't want to say it out loud.
Putting you on the spot. And I'm sure we both seen the same thing. We've both seen the same thing. I take the subways every single day of the week to go to work and back. So twice a day I'm on the subway. And we both see the same thing. We see who the aggressor is. We see who the suspects are.
I do.
And who the victims most often are. And, there you go. Not to put it in a racial way. It's just we're putting it in an objective way. Just to say what's objectively true. And, nowadays you're not allowed to be objective. You have to follow the narrative that's being pumped. And if you don't, then you're not woke. And if you're not woke, then you're a Nazi. And you're a white supremacist, and you're a racist, and even though I am Jewish with biracial children, I'm still called a Nazi. Even though I have family who, my dad's side of the family survived the Holocaust, and yet I'm still called a Nazi. And it's like, wow, that's like one of the biggest insults.
Not that.
And the worst part is when they call me a Nazi right
Did anyone
after.
actually call you that?
It's online. It's usually online. It's not.
Online.
Yeah, it's not in
Online
person. It's online. And then I laugh it off and I say, well, I'm actually Jewish. Holocaust survivors in the family. In fact, Uncle Herbie was my dad's uncle. He had the numbers on his arm, and when we were kids, we used to ask him, why does he have numbers on his arm? Because we didn't know better. And he would say, that's my phone number. I put it there in case I forget it. That was like the joke that he used to tell the kids in the family. So, I would explain this to people online, and then, it's always like, there's always an excuse. It's like, I say, well, listen, I'm actually Jewish, and then it's like, you're not, you're lying. And then it's like, I have biracial children. Oh, yeah, you only had those kids.
You have children?
I have 2 kids, yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah, 2 kids. Well, you don't believe me? You didn't
I
believe
believe
you didn't believe me? A plumber can use a computer. No. Well, we can make kids.
I mean, you just don't look like it's.
I don't look like I have kids. I don't look like I can use a computer.
I don't see the kids here.
This guy, holy shit. Well, they live with their mom. I'm not with the mom.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're older. My kids are adults now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I have a 23-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son.
I'm not saying you can't have kids. I'm just saying I don't see them.
Yeah, I was a teen dad.
Oh, okay.
I was a teen dad.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Me and their mom were 19 when our daughter was born.
Gotcha.
So here it is, 23 years later. 2 kids, 2 adult children, which is great because I can curse them out. Well, my daughter, I don't curse my daughter out, but my son, I can curse him out.
Of course. What else is he there for?
Yeah, of course, you have to. Like when I call him every day. My daughter doesn't speak to me, but my son still speaks to me. He still likes me. Oh, but he probably don't like me, but out of courtesy, he speaks to me. But when he answers the phone, like the first thing out of my mouth, I'm like, yeah, what's up, asshole? And he's like, oh, what do you want? What do you want? I'm busy playing a video game. But yeah, that's what you do. You curse them out. But yeah, online, man, that's where I do most of my debates. And it's terrible. It's so bad. Once you don't agree with someone, and you know what? It's not only that side to us. It's also our side to them. So if you were debating, I don't know what side of the aisle you fall on, but let's just say you fell on the left, you were a Democrat, a liberal, whatever, and let's say you were trying to have a civil discussion with someone on the right. A lot of times you'll get someone on the right that will jump right into calling you a libtard and a communist, and right away, like they jump right into that. And it's like, whoa, hold up, you know what I mean? But yeah, I see it all the time. It's such a terrible thing to have a conversation online.
I would imagine that being online has no narrative, because people can say whatever they want, and they can hide and be anonymous. A while ago, like, I made a YouTube video for comedy. It was called "Do Chinese People Eat Dogs and Cats?" It was for humor, and people took it the wrong way. Like 1,000 of comments. And most of the comments were like, "Fuck you, Gook. Fuck you, Chink. Look at this fucking Chink." I'm like, jeez.
Like, damn it, right? Oh,
that has nothing to do with the topic.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad out there. It's bad. It really is. Well, do they? Do they eat cat and dogs? Do they?
Yeah, in some places they do.
Yeah. I'm sure.
The point in my video was that, everybody eats animals. So why are we being criticized for that?
Right. I think there's
eggs. Right, that's a chicken. Mm-hmm. You eat beef, that's a cow.
Well, why can't I eat a dog? Why can't I eat Fido?
Exactly.
I think there's a movement in China now to stop the practice of eating dogs. There's like a pretty serious growing movement of citizens.
There's a lot of things happening in China.
Yeah. I think because farm animals, they're farmed with the intention of us eating them. So we farm them so we can use them for because that was always the case. Is, once agriculture and farming started, approximately 10,000 years ago, we domesticated these animals for the intent. Nice helicopter flying over. We farmed them with the intent on eating them. Dogs were not. I'm sure some people did eat dog. But at some point we stopped. We gave up that practice. Once we realized there was other use for dogs other than just as a food source, and then they just became men's best friend. It's like I won't let a cow in my bed with me. You know what I mean? But I'll let a dog. You know what I'm saying? I go upstairs to my friend. I have a childhood friend lives upstairs, and I go up there and he has a cat. His cat's all over me. I sit down, the cat jumps up, comes on my lap, and that's cool. But I wouldn't let a pig do that. You know what I mean? So
It just feels different.
it's just I don't know. You know, it's more of a psychological thing. You know, you look at a cat and a dog. It's like I don't want to eat that. It's not the type of animal you eat. You know how many dogs you would have to kill to like feed a population?
I don't know.
Versus, you know, like a cow. Like one cow is quite a few meals.
Yes.
That's quite a few hamburgers. You know
like
what I mean?
Steak.
I like steak too. I had a nice steak. I went out to a steakhouse Friday night. I had a nice ribeye steak. It was amazing. And we had the Kobe beef, completely overrated. Completely overrated. Don't waste your money. Don't. It was the worst thing. It really
Too
wasn't.
expensive, right?
It was expensive, and it really wasn't that great. It wasn't. The ribeye steak was $90.
$90?
Yeah, it was an overpriced steak, but it was actually a very delicious steak. It really was.
I mean, the most expensive steak I had was like $20.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to this place. I didn't want to go. I was like, where?
They forced you.
It was for my friend's birthday, and it was like he's such a great friend that the only excuse I could have had for not going would be like I'm dead, like I died. Sorry, I'm gonna miss
You
you.
have friends with high tests. You have friends with high
Yeah,
tests.
yeah.
Can I recommend you something?
What's that?
There's this place called 99 Favors, and it's Korean barbecue,
Mm.
and it's basically all you can eat, as much as you want. Alright, and you stop eating when you're full or when you just drop dead.
Mm.
Alright, and it's basically $30 plus tax and tip total. $30, you can eat as much as you want.
Mm.
Tell him to go there instead of a $90 steak.
You know what? I think this really was just a once in a lifetime thing. It was like for a birthday, we were talking about where we're gonna go, and we were like,
Okay.
you know what? I'd never had Kobe beef. I want to try it. There's a good steakhouse in the city.
Okay.
You know, we'll just go there. And I was like, you know what? I think I need to get some friends that are on welfare that couldn't afford a steak dinner. But we went, and it was worth it. It was good company. It was a good place. The food was good. It was very pricey, but we were like, whatever, fuck
I'm
it.
sure you get 5-star treatment and the food was good, but I
Oh,
would never
yeah,
pay
yeah.
$90 for one steak.
Oh, I never will again. I'll tell you that. I never will again. That's not going to happen. I'm done with that. Never again. That bill came, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was 11 of us, or 12 of us, I think.
Uh-huh.
And that bill was it was like just under $3,000.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh.
If I could whistle, I would.
And you know what kills me is that he has money. He owns a restaurant in Queens. He owns a shish kebab restaurant in Queens, and it does very, very, very well.
Mhm.
So a kosher meat. That place could not have cooked a steak better than him. They cannot cook a steak better than he can. Anything that we barbecue here in the back in nice weather, and I have it in my boil room. I have the grill. It's a shish kebab, a long narrow shish kebab grill.
Yeah.
And I have a whole stack of the skewers. And we get the meat, we put it on the skewers, all different types of meat, and lay it across the grill.
I love a shish kebab.
And it is the best meat. He'll make a skirt steak, lamb chops, any type of shish kebab,
Yeah.
chicken, steak, anything, any type of meat that goes on the grill. He will make it on the grill right here in the backyard, and it will be better than any of the steak you'll eat in these steakhouses. And when he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the steakhouse," and I'm like, "No, dog, what are you kidding me? You know you can cook a better steak than what they're gonna serve us for a crazy amount of money, but it's the experience of wasting your money in a fancy steakhouse."
Very much.
Yeah. So you live at home? You live on your own?
My parents live with me.
They live with you.
Yeah, I don't live with them. They live with
They
me.
live with you.
There's a difference.
Like fuck that. They live with me. You can throw them out then. You can tell them to leave.
Yeah.
Tell them, listen,
Yeah,
guys.
totally. I could kick them out.
Yeah. You gotta tell them, get your life together and get out of here. What are you doing? Go get your own place.
Exactly.
Do you at least have your own bedroom?
Yes, I do.
All right, good. That's helpful.
That helps.
I've been on my own for so long. I don't know what it's like to live with a person.
Hmm.
It's got to be so uncomfortable to have somebody in the house with you. The only people I can live with comfortably will be my kids, and I guess their mom. Like if their mom had to come stay here for any reason, or if I had to like stay with her for any reason or something, I would be comfortable.
Are they okay with your snake?
Well, my daughter doesn't talk to me. She hates me, and
That's a shame.
yeah, she hates me because I try to be a dad, and I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I'm not your friend, I'm your dad, and you know.
Well, I hope it works out.
Yeah, and my son, he's getting to that point too. He's getting to that point where he's like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm an adult now. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop telling me to go to school. Stop telling me to get a job.
Yeah.
So my son doesn't give a shit about the snake. The last time he was here, I was like, yo, hold the snake. And he was like, no, get away from me. He don't want to hold him. You know, I hated snakes my whole life. I just didn't like reptiles. I'm just not a reptile guy. And I have a coworker. I'm gonna have him on the show soon, hopefully. He breeds snakes. He breeds them, ball pythons. He has hundreds of them in his house.
How do snakes even breed?
Well, he kind of hooks them up, and they get married, and you know, like when the dad snake loves the mom snake, they love each other. They get
Wine and dine.
right. They get married, and then the stork brings them an egg or two, and it hatches, and they have their children.
Snakes lay eggs, right?
They lay eggs.
From where? What part of the body?
Well, I guess it's down the same place they poop. It's kind of like us. It's like they have the garden right next to the sewage plant. It's kind of like us.
I see.
Right? It's like,
I see.
yeah. So what I did was I took the snake home, and I learned a lot about him. And I decided to get it. I was like, all right, I'll get a snake. I don't know why I decided to get a snake. I don't like them. So I got one, and I took him home, and I fucking love this guy now. He's like, I take him out of the cage, out of his tank,
Yeah.
and I wrap him around my neck, and I just sit here watching YouTube videos all day, or studying, or writing a paper for school.
Yeah?
Yeah, and he's all over me. He's cute. I can grab him, hold his head. He doesn't.
You guys are like friends.
We're like friends. Yeah, he knows me. He's comfortable with me. He wraps around my hands, and he just like he'll put his head like this, and just like he'll sit there for as long as I let him, just sitting on my hand, and he's just he's the coolest thing in the world. He really is.
Cool.
So yeah, I kind of like him now.
Cool.
It's an interesting pet, easy to take care of. I used to do saltwater tanks. I had a lot of saltwater fish tanks. I used to do very, very expensive and pretty tough maintaining them, but it was actually a fun hobby.
I used to have turtles.
What kind of turtles?
There's different kinds.
Yeah, there's pretty much a lot of different types of turtles.
I don't know.
You just had the ones with the shells. I don't know.
Yeah, the shells for a head and a tail. Yeah.
I had turtles too. My brother had when we were kids, and he never wanted to take care of the tank, and he always made me do it and I always fell for it, right? And I would feel bad and just say, okay, I'll change the water because it's not, the water's dirty as hell. You know what I mean? And like they're gonna get sick. You couldn't even look into the tank. The water would get so dirty you can't even see into the tank.
It does happen.
And I would feel so bad for them and say, let me change the water, give them clean water, and clean the tank. I mean, it's disgusting. And every once in a while, I would like siphon the water out. And
Yeah, you have to do that.
I would siphon the water
I have
out.
to do it once a week.
And the hose would be so dirty that you couldn't see when the water was coming. And most of the times, I would just get the dirty water right in my mouth, sometimes swallowing some of it.
Oh,
It was just a
shit.
bad experience with these turtles.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I also used to have parakeets.
Oh, nice. I always wanted. I had birds when I was a kid. Cockatoos.
Yeah.
How many parrots you had?
Well, this was interesting because I actually won a parakeet at a festival. So I got one, and then I bought a cage for it, put it in there, and this parakeet would scream.
Yeah, you got to watch the table because
Not
the
that-
camera shakes.
So this parakeet would just sing, right? And then it would attract the other parakeets. And then there was another one that came near the cage, And my dad, he caught the other one. So now there's two. Right? And then these two attracted some others.
How the hell did he catch it? Was he like Mr. Miyagi and shit? He just
Yeah.
boom.
Wax on, wax off.
It just caught.
Just
Yeah, I
like
know.
that.
Oh man, were you like growing up? Did you get a lot of those jokes?
What jokes?
Like the Mr. Miyagi jokes? And,
Of course, I love the Karate Kid.
yeah. I always thought it was funny, like to say that to like watch like people say that to Chinese kids. It's like Mr. Miyagi was Japanese.
Exactly.
He did
Exactly.
karate, not kung fu.
He was Japanese.
He was Japanese, yeah. And when they did that new Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, it was so terrible because it was Jackie Chan as Jaden Smith's. He was the new Mr. Miyagi.
Unfortunately, I have seen that movie.
Have you seen it? It was terrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. What turned me off immediately was, it's called The Karate Kid. It's taking place in China where they're doing kung fu, and it's like, this is, for a martial artist, this was such an insult. I was offended almost. I was like, this is bullshit. It should be called The Kung Fu Kid.
What bothers me is that kid is way too small to be doing that stuff. He's just way too small.
Yeah.
Because there was a scene when he's kissing a girl. I'm like, what is he,
Oh,
like
terrible.
5 years old?
That's terrible.
He's Will Smith's kid, so
He
they have
kissed
to
a
make
girl.
him kiss a girl. It's like,
And it was a Chinese girl?
what's the Chinese
The
girl?
Chinese girl. Oh man, the Chinese people must have been mad.
I'm sure they were.
Guys were burnt. He was.
Can I drink water?
Go ahead. You
Alright.
can do what you want. You can drink it. You can throw it. Just don't throw it in here. You can throw it outside. But. Yeah, I mean, definitely not a good look. Have you seen the YouTube, the new Karate Kids on YouTube?
Which is,
Cobra Kai, it's called.
oh, that one. I heard about
Oh, it was so good. You have to see it. It was so good.
Oh,
It really was. It was really, really good. And I thought when I first saw the common attractions to it, I had a feeling that it was just going to be so cringy. And then I watched it and was like, wow, it's actually pretty damn
I
good.
gotta check it out.
You have to check it out. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you can like get it for free like I did, watch it for free like me, it's 100% worth it. It was really good.
All right.
Johnny grew up to be the anti-hero. He grew up to be the hero who's just a jerk, but he's the hero. He's actually right. He's actually like on the right side of history, but he's just a jerk. And then Daniel,
He's actually the bad guy.
he's kind of the bad guy in a way. Like he means well, but he's kind of ignorant in a way. And he's sort of the bad guy. So it's like the roles were reversed. And Daniel's almost like a bully in a way in this one.
Right, because
Almost.
there's a fan theory about that. In the original Karate Kid, that Daniel's actually the bad guy.
Yeah.
He provoked the
Johnny,
other guy first.
yeah.
He started the fight.
Yeah.
I think
I see that.
That series came out, that fan theory.
Yeah, I seen that video.
It's
That was pretty
interesting how
funny.
that develops.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. But the Karate Kid was just such. I mean, it's a great movie, you know, from the '80s. It really is. But Ralph Macchio was like the worst martial artist in any movie. He was so terrible. He was slow. He had no flexibility, no power behind any of his kicks. He had no finesse. Like Johnny was more of the athletic type, right? So he came out and he was, you know what I mean? He was able to do all this stuff and he looked good. And then Daniel would come and he's just, and you know what I mean? It was like he was stiff and slow and weak and he just didn't
I
have.
never noticed that.
He was just a terrible martial artist.
I watched Karate Kid as a kid. I did not notice any of those things.
Yeah, he wasn't really this great. It was more of the, I guess the story behind it. It was like you know what I'm saying? The whole point to it. It wasn't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would have gotten someone that can kick ass. Someone that like looks like a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look like a fighter. His kicks were real slow and.
So Johnny is the anti-hero.
Johnny's the anti-hero. Johnny Lawrence grew up to be the anti-hero. He's like he's still bad. He's still a bad influence on kids. And but he's right. He's like right in what he's doing. And he's completely out of his timeline. So he has these kids in the dojo and he's talking to them in a certain way and the kids are like, "Sensei, you can't say that anymore." And he's like, "What do you mean I can't say that? What do you mean I can't say karate's only for boys, not for girls?" And they're like, "You can't say that anymore." But it was good. It's definitely worth the watch. You'll definitely enjoy it.
All right.
So is there anything else we can cover in this episode of The Bad Philosopher?
Well, this week is the 40th anniversary of the Guardian Angels.
Are you guys having some kind of party, a festival? or
We
something?
had it already.
Ah.
We had it already. It was a party in the Lower East Side in a bar.
I wish you would have told me that. Maybe I would have shown up.
Oh,
Why not?
I forgot.
Yeah, I would have shown up, and I would have maybe had a drink with you
Never
guys.
crossed my mind. My bad.
I would have had a drink with Curtis.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I wish I would have known that. That would have been cool.
Well, you can have the next 40 years.
Then, yeah, 40 years from now. Yeah, just don't forget
40
to invite me 40 years from now. If I'm still around, I don't think I'll be around 40
You'll
years
be
from
around.
now. I don't think so. I think my time will
You're
be up
only
way
40,
before
right?
that.
Right now you're 40?
43.
43.
43 years old. Yeah.
The average life expectancy should be 120 years old.
If you're Asian, it's 120.
Is that what they say?
If you're Asian, my grandfather lived to be 102 years old. He died at 102 in Florida. Yeah, that's pretty
Nice.
amazing. That's pretty
good.
amazing. But he didn't smoke or drink his entire life. He always took care of himself. He ate kosher. He was a boxer. He was
You know what I'm
a
saying?
professional boxer back in maybe the 1930s. He fought professionally. I guess he wasn't a good fighter. He didn't make any money off of fighting. But
I would think boxers have short lives. Like, look what happened to Rocky.
well, he probably had a short career, but not a short life. So he lived happy. He lived happy. Yeah, I guess maybe I have the good genes. Hopefully I have genes to live that long. To go, or maybe not. I mean, I don't know if I want to be old and wear diapers again, and have people taking care of me like that. I mean, I don't think that's really a way to live. But the Asian people, man, let me tell you, I've seen some of them. They look like 300 years old, still walking. You guys live forever.
They're too old to be alive.
They live forever. And you know, Asians don't age. Like, they don't look like they age. So when you see an old ass Asian, you're
Yeah.
like, they're really fucking old.
They are old.
They are old.
Wanna know the secret?
What's the secret?
Eating dogs and cats.
Eating dogs
In
and
the meat.
cats.
In the meat.
It's in. You're right. You're right about
in the
that.
meat.
You're right about that. I think I'm gonna start eating some cats
The
and dogs.
ancient Chinese secret.
But it's not kosher.
Well,
It's
then you
not.
have
They're
to
not kosher
decide,
animals.
like,
What do I do?
You have to decide. Do you want kosher or do you want to live longer? I don't know.
That's a tough decision. I don't eat kosher. I don't care. I don't. It's funny because I keep a Torah right here. I keep a Torah on my desk with me, and I do not believe in anything. I hold no beliefs in anything at all. In anything supernatural or religious, I don't believe any of it at all. But I just keep that there. I don't know. I like to read it once in a while just to see what's written in there.
Okay.
It's just.
It's good to learn.
Yeah, I
Just
guess
curious.
just to, every once in a while you run into someone with strong beliefs and you have a good conversation about it. I like to know what's written in this book so I know how to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a whole library there. It looks like a disaster with all my books there. I got to straighten it all out. But I'm a big reader. I have a Kindle. That's what I've been reading off of recently. And the Kindles are amazing. They're amazing. I have like 300 books on my Kindle. It's about 300 roughly
Nice.
on one stupid little Kindle. It's like this big.
Reading's good for you.
It fits in my pocket. I put it in my back pocket and go to work with it every day. And I have about 300 books on that one little thing. So it's pretty amazing.
It's good to stay curious.
Yeah, I'm a big reader. Big reader. I read a lot of every person on this wall right here who has any writings, I read all of them. That's why I put them on the wall. Every single person. So, including Einstein, I read almost all of Einstein. I read Machiavelli.
Me too. I read The Prince.
Yeah, I read The Prince too. I got The Prince. My favorite is Nietzsche. As for modern philosophy, I've read all of his work. I read all of Thomas Paine's work. So pretty much everyone on this board. Ayn Rand, I didn't read all of her work. I read probably half because some of her books, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, are long reads. They're like 1,000-something pages. So I didn't read all of them. I read
Okay.
roughly half
Okay.
and then gave up. I got to go back to reading it, but now I might have to start from the beginning because I forgot the rest. George Orwell, I read pretty much all of George Orwell. He was an amazing writer, George Orwell. Who else? I mean, Newton, John Locke, Spinoza, read all of it. Descartes, read all of it. That my degree, my associate that I'm getting in the spring is in philosophy. So any philosopher I read a lot of their work.
Very nice.
Not all of them, but I've read a considerable amount for my degree.
You are very well read.
Well read, and to be honest with you, most of them write shit. You have no fucking idea what they're talking about. You have not a clue of what they're talking about. Some of them is just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Gotta get the cliff notes.
Yeah, you do. So some of them wasn't so hard to figure out. Spinoza wasn't so bad to figure out. Descartes it's not so bad to figure out. Their writings are pretty easy. Nietzsche could have been in the beginning was tough, and then I after reading and watching YouTube videos of people discussing his work, it finally hit me. Karl Marx, the absolute worst. That's why he's X'd out. The absolute worst.
You're a jack of all trades, huh?
The worst.
You read a lot. You do BJJ. You have a podcast.
Yeah. What else? What else do I do? I don't. It's never at school. Well, my readings I do on the way to work because I take the train. So I do all my reading on the train, going to work, and then coming home from work. So I get enough reading. I get about 2 hours of reading in a day, just for being on the train, traveling to work or traveling home.
So it doesn't take any more time.
It doesn't take any more time. Plus, I'm waiting for it when I get to the train station, and I'm waiting for the train, and I have to transfer trains, so I have to wait for 2 trains.
I see.
So I get to do all my reading, and it's all on a Kindle that I take with me.
I see.
So I have 300 books in my pocket at any moment, and I just take it with me, and I read. Maybe I'll read 1 or 2 chapters on the way to work from one book. I'll read 1 or 2 chapters on the way back on another book.
Yeah, it's interesting how people nowadays they say they don't have time for anything.
It's all bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. When people say they'll find a way. If you want,
it's bad enough, they'll find a way.
Yeah. When I trained in judo, my coach, Sensei Parnell Lagros, he was captain of the Haitian Olympic team in 1992 for Barcelona, Spain. He came here to this country. He got divorced from his wife. He was married quite a few times. He has quite a few kids. His 2 oldest kids, he was divorced from her. He had to work. He drove a taxi. Was in college studying. He ended up becoming a health and gym teacher. And he was training for the Olympics all at one time. Plus, he was paying a crazy amount in child support, so he had to work as much as he can. Between school, work, and training, he didn't sleep. He had no sleep, and he used to tell us all the time that, you have to, you guys are in school. Not me. I was working at the time. I was already an adult, but he's telling the other kids, you're in school, and your education is very important because of your future. You might want to work a job so you can make some extra money, so you're not so much of a burden for your parents. Plus, you want your own money. And then you're here training because you have a dream. How do you fit all of this into one, into your schedule, right? You only have but so many hours of the day. Well, then you don't sleep. That's it. Or you have to give one of them up. There's just no, you know what I mean? Either you're not, either you don't work or you don't go to school, or you give up judo. But if you can't fit it all in the schedule, then you have to give up sleep, right? And that's it. That's just the way it is. If you want to become an Olympic athlete while still in school and still holding a job, that's the only way you can do it. There's no other way.
Well, I guess you can't have it all.
No, you can't. But so that's what you have to do. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something. And if you're not willing to sacrifice your schooling, your training, your job, whatever, then you're gonna have to sacrifice sleep. You have to pick which one is more important to you.
Sleep is pretty important.
Sleep is pretty important.
Sleep, nutrition, health.
Yeah. So. And he picked everything but sleep. Sleep was last. So he never slept. He slept very little, as little as possible. And he made it to the Olympics. He also became a gym and health teacher. He eventually retired. He became one of the most successful judo coaches in the country. This is a fact. Nice. Probably the most successful judo coach in the country. Won a public service award from Mayor Giuliani. I was there to witness that. He was the first educator to win that award. was constantly asked every 4 years by the Olympic Committee to be the Olympic coach here in America. He turned them down because it took too much time away from his program that he was training us. Yeah, and the man, he did his thing, and so I look at it like, yeah. So if I don't have the time for all this, I have to make the time. I have to give up. Something has to get, you have to give something up. So maybe give up sleep. Don't sleep so much. Don't sleep 8 hours. Only sleep 6 hours. Sleep 4 hours. But it's not that time consuming because I put my 40 hours in a week. After work, I either go to school. If I don't have class, I go to the gym. So it's not that bad. Then when I come home from the gym or I come home from school, it's usually late night. And this is when it starts cutting into my sleep. I come home, I take a shower, and I make a video. So
I see.
yeah.
I see.
So that's it. And then sometimes on a weekend when I'm off from work and if I don't have class and if I didn't go to the gym yet, or if I went early to the gym and came back, I'll make 2 or 3 videos. And this way I can just hit upload one today, and then tomorrow I can upload another one, and the next day upload another one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I make it work.
I believe you. I believe you.
Thank you for believing me. Thank you for believing me and having belief in me.
I'm a multitasker too. I have so much going on, but not as much as you.
It's not that much. It's not that much. What do you do other than work and how many days a week are you volunteering for the Guardian Angels?
On average, I do 1 day a week. I also go to 2 different gyms. One is Blank Fitness for lifting weights, and the other one is the UFC. And usually I do some cardio and maybe some other kind of training like sparring. I have a job, and I also sell ebooks online.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I can show you my website later.
Whose books are you selling? You said ebooks.
Ebooks. I wrote them myself.
So it's your writings.
It's my writings.
What
It's
genre
about
is
like
it?
different ways to make money online,
Mm.
like through building a mailing list, getting people's emails, and just sending them offers, and like basically teaching them something.
Hmm.
hmm
How's that going for you?
It's pretty slow. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. I didn't think about. I mean, I think about writing a book, but the problem is no one's gonna want to read it. So I'm like, let me not write a book. No one's gonna give a shit what I have to say. I have like 132 subscribers on YouTube. No one gives a shit about my book if I write one. So I don't think I'm gonna write a book anytime soon. I don't know if I have the patience. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I came up, which I believe, and I spoke to quite a few people that reasonable people that I know that I trust their judgment. Not some of my idiot friends, but some of the people I know that are pretty trustworthy. And I had a really, really, really interesting book, very interesting book, and it's a fiction, but there's a political there's a political message in it. It's kind of like George Orwell's 1984 or his Animal Farm.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's fiction like that, but with a political meaning to it. And I came up with the idea, and I started just writing just the beginning, just basic stuff, ideas. I was just writing it down, rough copies, rough draft of my ideas behind it, and I didn't make it very far, and I gave up because I'm a quitter.
You've got a lot going on.
I'm a quitter. I quit. I wrote a few pages,
No.
like threw some ideas down, spoke to a few people, say, hey, what do you
You're
think
the
about
jack of all trades. You have a lot going on.
this? I have really nothing going on. It's nothing important, though. It's like it's nothing major going on.
I think BJJ is pretty major.
No, it's just, I go to the adult class, bunch of, adults that are all hurt and old. Everyone's complaining about their
Easy
back
for you.
pain.
It should be easy for you.
It should be, yeah. You know what? It's taken me a long time to physically age. You know what I mean? So I have that going for me. It's taken me. I have a lot of body pain and injuries, but I still physically feel like I'm 21, 22. I still have that going for me.
A lot of people would love to have that problem.
Yeah, you're right about that. I was on the treadmill today. I do 9-minute miles on the treadmill. I did 3 miles today, One of them was under 9 minutes. My second mile was under 9 minutes. So I still have it.
I see.
I didn't lose too much of it.
That's good.
Nah, trying. I'm trying. I recently lost 45 pounds.
45?
45 pounds, yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. I had to, man. It was disgusting. My belly was so big.
Dude, that's like 2 dogs and a baby.
Just, I stopped eating the dogs. And gave birth. I had to, man. You know, I looked in the. I do this all the time. I usually don't lose this much weight, but I usually go from being, 215, 220, and I'll go down to 190, 185, and then I go back up again, and it's this up and down that I've had my entire life. And this time I looked in the mirror, and I once again I looked in the mirror with no shirt on, ready to take a shower, and I see how fat I am. I see this huge belly. And I'm like, that is disgusting. Like, you are fat. Like, you know what I mean? And you're doing it to yourself. You eat too much. You're lazy. You're not disciplined. You know what I mean? You don't even try to get into shape. And that's usually what motivates me looking in the mirror and pretty much talking shit to myself. And that motivates me to start working out. And I spent this last summer that passed, I spent the whole summer dieting and jogging every single day.
And it took you how long to lose that weight?
The course of the summer.
So about 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, 3 months maybe, roughly 3 months. I was down 45 pounds.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm up a few pounds, but I went down to as low as 168.
That's a lot. That's
From
big.
215 to 168. That was my biggest gap.
Do you
Now
think
I'm like
that-
175 now.
Do you think that society has a narrative on how people should look like? Like, society shuns fat people?
Yeah. 100% we do. And we should.
What do you think about
I think
the,
we should. I think we should.
what do you think about the body positive movement?
I'm not a big fan of it.
I'm not either.
I'm not a fan of it because, the last 100 years, or the last 100 years roughly, the average citizen in any country was not morbidly obese. We didn't have that issue. We never had that issue in our entire existence. And as much as I love capitalism, right? I'm a capitalist. I'm a hardcore capitalist, right? But capitalism has provided us with an abundance of stuff where you can get a meal literally anywhere at any time and as much of it as you want.
Yes.
And the junk food, the candy, the sodas, I mean, we just keep adding. And here in America, we have a food eating contest. We have a contest who can eat the most food in one sitting, right? Competitive eating. It's an actual sport. Competitive eating. Think about this. This is where we've gotten in our society, where we compete who can eat the most food, and it's like you wonder why we have this issue with.
It's like a McDonald's every 5 minutes away.
Right. So people get fat. It's
really not good.
When you think
not healthy.
No, it's not. But when you think of like psychology, like evolutionary psychology, we physically evolved to not be overweight up until like the last 100 years, let's say, or maybe 150 years. I don't know, right? I'll figure the last 100 years. We evolved to not be overweight all these years. Psychology wise, we never viewed big people as being sexy because we spent all of these hundreds of thousands of years as humans not being obese. So we looked at women based on their shape. We looked at them based on their hips, if they were good for child rearing and stuff like that, as what's sexy. And now in the last 100 years, people are getting really big and fat. Women looked at men like who's the fit, who's the strong, a hunter warrior. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's psychology-wise, that's how we judged beauty. And now here we are, where you have people who are morbidly obese, and they're like, you have to accept me and think I'm sexy and want to have sex with me, or you're a bigot.
That's just fat people being lazy.
Yes.
It's just saying, oh, you have to accept me, you can't judge me. It's just lazy, and uses that to justify your laziness. That's why I can't stand about it.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have that problem too much in the Asian community. You don't see too many fat Asian people.
No,
you don't.
Outcasted.
Yeah, it's like looked down upon. Like, what are you doing, man? Put the rice down. Shit, go for a walk.
Especially Asian are more shallow, I think, when it comes to dating.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess it goes by country. Like in South America, like thick women are seen as sexier, but in countries like China, what's sexy is like a thin woman.
Right,
Thin is
right,
sexy.
right. Well, I have to admit those thick women in South America are pretty damn sexy. Let's be honest. Now I didn't say thick girls are not sexy. I said fat girls, but a little meat on the bones is not bad at all.
There's
That's
a limit.
pretty damn sexy. Some women, yeah, man. And I grew up with all Puerto Ricans. Growing up, all my childhood friends were Puerto Rican. I dated a lot of Puerto Rican girls my entire life. My kid's mom is half black and half Puerto Rican, so I'm very familiar with. I grew up in a black neighborhood. I grew up in East New York, so I'm very familiar with the cultures of people that like bigger women. But I'm not talking about like fat women. I'm talking about just thick women that they still look good naked. I'm not talking about like the big you know how it is. You get on the train. I had a big woman come sit next to me on the train the other day, and she just like squeezed in. She fit. She was like, I'm gonna fit. I want to sit down.
Somehow.
And she did. And I gave her a look. I gave her that look, that uncomfortable, like, damn, what the fuck? And then she said something to me.
What did she say?
She said, she was like she said, I don't know what the hell she said. Oh, there's different size people or something like that. And I said, yeah, but have a ma'am, have a little courtesy. Like, it's just, you don't fit. You know what I mean? Like, this is insane. Like, she had me squished up against, you have the rails right here, the handrails. Mm-hmm. She had me, like, squished up against the handrails. And the other guy sitting on the other side of her, he even looked at her, too. He gave her this look like, what are you doing? Like, you don't fit here. Like, what the hell?
Those seats are designed for average-sized people.
You can only fit but so many people in the seat. It's like, shit. She easily took up 2 seats. Easily. But,
Yeah.
Damn me for saying anything. We're not allowed to say. And the airports wanted to charge like double for fat people. They wanted to charge them for 2 seats. They wanted them to buy 2 seats. If they don't fit in
one seat, they would have to take two seats.
Yeah, and that's the case. I mean, they would take in their seat and then half of the one next to them.
What, they should pay double.
Yeah, right.
They eat like they got 2 asses.
They're eating for double. They might as well pay for double.
Exactly.
Oh, you are so mean. I didn't think you were this mean. You are a mean person. I like it, though. I do. I like it. You're my kind of guy. But, I'm not with this whole fat acceptance. And I think by accepting them, what we're doing is we're like enabling them to just continue their shitty lifestyle. Instead of shunning them, I mean, not shunning as far as like, placing them in exile from our society, but by voicing our opinion that's not a healthy lifestyle for them to live, and by not putting them on magazine covers and not representing them as a beauty standard, I think I think it's better off, because you're telling them that look, you need to do something. You need to lose weight. No one wants to see you naked.
Right.
It's just the way it is. This has nothing. It's usually women complaining, but same thing with the men. We don't want to see you with no shirt on. We don't want to see you at all. Yeah, like you're.
It's nasty.
You're just you're a big fat dude. I don't want to see you. Not that I want to see good-looking guys naked, but I'm sorry. But if you like, look at Mike Tyson. Look how ripped he is in this picture.
Yeah.
If he's at the beach walking around like this, like you see him, you're like, yo, that dude.
Hard ass.
That dude is jacked. You know what I mean? Like you don't. But then you see a big fat dude with no shirt on. You're like, look at this fat guy, man. Put a shirt on. It's gross. I don't want to see that. Like, this dude worked his ass off to look like that. Like, go ahead, dude. Go ahead. Walk around no shirt on. Plus, you'll fuck me up, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Mm-hmm. But you see a big fat dude, it's like, man, put your shirt on.
I feel like there has to be a balance. Like, you shouldn't be like this fat. It's just not good for you.
No, it's not.
You shouldn't have to have abs either. That's just hard to maintain. Like, just be somewhere in the middle and have a balance. Because, like, I would go on these dating sites, and you keep swiping, you know what I mean? And you see abs, and I'm like, oh my god. It's like, there's society has too many demands. There's too many, demands for you to look a certain way, and that's how the body positive movement came out. It's just to say, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to eat quinoa. I don't want to eat kale, so I'm going to be fat. I'm going to eat whatever I want.
I mean, at least work out. If you work out, you can eat anything you want.
Work out a little bit.
Work out a little bit and cut your calories. Like I still eat a slice of pizza every day of the week. 7 days a week I eat a slice of pizza. And
It's always time for a cheat day.
I have a cheat day every day, and like today I had bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel. I still eat bagels. Like there's no reason not to. All you have to do is cut down how much calories you take in the day. So I try my best to stay under 2,000 calories a day. It could be anything I want. It could be any meal. It could be any type of food, as long as it's under 2,000 calories, and I exercise. That's it. And that's how I lost 45 pounds. That simple. I still ate pizza every day of the week. I still ate my bacon, egg, and cheese every morning. And I didn't really change. I just avoid, certain places. I don't eat fast food. I was never big on fast food. So now I'm extra not big on fast food. Now I don't even, in a hurry, I don't even eat fast food. If I'm in a hurry, we have to grab something to eat and get to work or something, then I'm like, what's available? It's like, there's a McDonald's around the corner. I'm not eating it. Sorry, I'll run into a deli. I'll grab a coffee, and I'll grab a little.
Gotta have standards.
I'll grab a little bullshit. You know what I eat a lot? I eat a lot of muffins. I eat a lot of muffins. I do. I eat a lot of muffins. I'm just a muffin person. I don't know why.
I like fried chicken.
Fried chicken is good.
Mm-hmm.
Fried chicken is always good. Not bad. A nice chicken cutlet. A chicken cutlet I can fuck with. Yeah. But, I mean, it's really not that hard to lose weight. It's not that hard to stay in shape. It's not that hard to not become morbidly obese.
I mean, for you, but I feel like a lot of people have that problem where they want to lose weight, but they're struggling.
I see that.
Weight loss is like a huge industry. It's like $1 billion industry.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people get personal trainers, and it's like they don't benefit from the personal trainer.
Do you feel like that women have more pressure to lose weight than men do?
100%, yeah. Yep. And they have more at stake than men do when it comes to being sexy. Men could be a little heavier, and it's okay.
It's okay as long as they're rich.
If they have money, it's fine. If they have a good looking face,
that helps.
That helps. If they're of certain size, if they're a big guy, like I have an old coworker of mine, and he's a big dude. He's he's a mountain. He's a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
But he has a good looking face. Women look at his face and like he's very handsome. He's very cute. He's like maybe 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a big dude. Women love him. They love him. He's with a woman every night of the week, and probably because they feel real safe around him. Having a big guy like that, it's like, who is going to disrespect her with a man that size? I mean, he is a mountain. So they feel comfortable being around him.
He's blessed with the genetics.
Yeah, and then with me, they're like, I'm a midget. They're like, this little guy's a midget. How can he protect me?
It is a little tougher to be dating if you're shorter.
Yeah. But so like they don't really have, there's no excuse for being morbidly obese, and you say it's in the genes, and it's like, look, dating wise, being short like me works against us because women typically don't like shorter men. So I can't change that. You can lose a couple pounds. You know what I mean? Like you can lose weight. Like I can't gain height.
That you can lose weight.
Yeah, and then they say, well, my everyone's different. Some people could some people could work out one day and all of a sudden they're completely ripped, and other people spend years in the gym and never really get satisfied with the way they look, and that is true. But keep in mind that's also true for me. Like it takes me a lot to lose weight. Like it's not, I don't have that privilege of just working out 1 or 2 days a week, and in a few weeks I'm ripped and shredded. Like I put a lot of energy into my training in order to lose weight, and I'm still not where I want to be. I mean, I still have a little bit of a gut. I don't have a 6-pack. You know what I mean? Like I still have more to go. It's like I understand, like most of us can't just easily lose weight and get into shape, but you can try. You can try and you can lose some weight. And then not to mention when you're obese your entire life, and it's like your parents did a disservice to you. They allowed you your entire life to just grow. Fat people don't go from being skinny to being completely morbidly obese like
It's a
that.
lifestyle.
You know what I'm saying?
Lifestyle
It's
thing.
over a pretty long, course of time. So they should have done something. Something should have been done at some point in their lives, and it wasn't. So either their parents did a disservice to them, or they done it to themselves.
They need to start caring. You know?
Yeah.
You ever see someone so fat and then you wonder, how do they even walk? How are they standing? And then when they walk, they start wobbling left and right.
Yeah, you are brutal. You are brutal, man. Holy shit! I didn't think you were like this, man. I was a little worried before you came. I was like, man, I'm afraid that I'm gonna say something. He's gonna look at me like, man, this guy. Why am I here? You are worse than me. Holy
You
shit!
said I can say whatever I want.
You can say whatever you want. Yeah, I don't get offended easily. I'm not offended easily at all. I just don't give a shit. That's just the way it is. I don't know. But it was definitely good having you here. We're an hour and a half in.
Wow.
An hour and a half flies by quick. It really
I
does.
had no idea.
It really. Now that I'm looking at you in the video, I got to do something about that section over there. That's popping up on the video. I gotta get a new camera angle or something to avoid that section of the wall. It's funny because you're like right here. You know what I mean? In the video. I'm like thinking I'm fooling somebody with the way I film the videos. But it was definitely great having you on the
It's
show.
great being here.
You
Thank
definitely have to come back again and do another podcast with me sometime in the future. Sometime in 2019, you definitely have to come back again.
Sure.
So promise me you'll do that, and I'm gonna upload this video sometime tonight.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, 100%. Before you go, you're gonna write down, if you want to, write down some links of any way of promoting yourself, and I'll put it in the description. So you could give me a link to the Guardian Angels, give me a link to your ebooks,
Okay.
give me a link, any social media accounts that you want shown, whatever you want, and I'll put links in the
Okay.
description, and that's it. And you'll be back again in the near future. Thanks for having you. All right, people, I am out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you to Red Phoenix and the Guardian Angels, and thank you, Guardian Angels, for everything you do, for helping to keep the city safe, and I will see you guys on the next video.